Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs are back-to-back college football national champions. If you're a Georgia fan, I know you're still probably in celebration mode. For me, I'm already looking ahead to next year. Can Georgia win the 3P? We're going to be talking about that for months and months and months heading into next season. But I had to go back and look at the schedule. And like a lot of other people, you've probably noticed that it's kind of a cupcake schedule. But you have to remember, and I've already seen national pundits out there forget this, that Georgia was scheduled to play at Oklahoma in Norman. So, of course, with the conference realignment, that game had to get canceled. But a lot of people are going to look at the schedule and say, what is Georgia doing? They're not scheduling anyone. They're going to, they got a cakewalk through the schedule, and they're going to probably win the SEC East again and, probably finish the regular season undefeated. That's what I'm saying, my way too early prediction. But you have to remember, instead of Ball State week 2, Georgia should have been playing Oklahoma. So you're going to hear from the rest of the country, well, Georgia doesn't play anyone. They don't schedule anyone. That could not be further from the truth. They've scheduled Notre Dame home and away, Clemson in 2021, Oregon this year. There's not a program out there that, in my opinion, does a better job of scheduling non-conference games, big ones early in the season, than Georgia. So unfortunately, there is no Oklahoma week, so you get Ball State. Let's go over the schedule real quick, and then I'm going to explain to you why I think Georgia has a real chance of winning 3 in a row. So first off, UT Martin, the Skyhawks to kick off the season. Georgia's going to win that by 100 points. Ball State instead of Oklahoma. Week 2, another blowout. Georgia's going to win that by probably 150 points. South Carolina comes to town. Georgia should win that game. They've got, Spencer Rattler coming back for another seaseason. They're going to be okay. I think they're going to have a nice little team coming into Athens. I think they're going to get blown out again. So Georgia's 3-0. They got UAB, the Blazers, coming to Athens. Another blowout. All right, so Georgia's sitting at 4-0. Carson Beck is slinging the ball all around the place. Then they go to Jordan Hare at Auburn on the Plains, and in the middle of all the cow fields, right? I don't think it's going to be a tough game. First-year head coach Hugh Freeze over at Auburn. They've got some work to do. They've got a lot of building to do over there. Georgia should have no problem going over there and winning. Kentucky coming to town. No Will Levis. No Chris Rodriguez. We'll see what Kentucky is all about. They need to take a step forward because they took a step back this past year. In Athens, Georgia to take care of business. At Vanderbilt, game I'm looking forward to in Nashville. Always a good time to go out there for that game. Going to be another blowout. Then Georgia is off, of course. Then they have the Gators in Jacksonville on the 28th. Missouri comes to Athens the next week. At Ole Miss, a lot of people are going to circle that one as a trap game. No, it's at home. It's at home. Ole Miss in Athens. Georgia's not going to lose that game. I say that. But yeah, we're going to talk about the schedule a lot over the next few months. Then at Tennessee before Georgia Tech. That's the game everyone has circled. SEC East probably going to be up for grabs in Neyland Stadium. And then, of course, Georgia Tech at Mark Richt Field, Bobby Dodd Stadium in Atlanta. Not a tough schedule. Not a tough schedule at all for a team like this that's going to be loaded with talent. Again, a quarterback, I think it's going to be the Carson Beck show. If you've been watching my videos, listen to me talk about Carson for the past few years, I'm very high on Carson Beck ever since I saw him play on Halloween night, 2019 in person. Threw for 4 touchdowns. I watched the game next to James Franklin, head coach at Penn State, who was there watching Carson at the time. Trying to do a little flip, but that didn't work out. Carson Beck's the real deal. They've got plenty of backs. Kendall Milton, Dejan Edwards, both coming back. Branson Robinson, Andrew Paul, Roderick Robinson, loaded at running back. Wide receiver, could be the best wide receiver room in college football next year. I'm not just saying that. A.D. Mitchell, Lad McConkey, Ra Thomas, Dominic Lovett. I think Dominic Blaylock could come back. He would be in big-time starter at most other places. Love Don Blaylock. He has the opportunity to return. They're going to be loaded at wide receiver next year. Tight end, still have the best tight end in America coming back. Arguably, pound for pound, the best player in college football next season. Brock Bowers, Oscar Delp. If you're on Dog Post, you knew about Oscar before anyone, and you know what he brings to the table already. I don't have to talk about Oscar, what he's capable of. He's going to have a big year next year. I think the couple freshman tight end could also play a big part. Offensive line, Cedric Van Pran coming back. I think he's going to declare for the draft at some point. I think he's going to leave. If he comes back, they're going to be very, very good on the offensive line. Again, you're going to have to place Broderick Jones. I think Amarius Mims still might be your right tackle next year, just dominating that spot. I've got questions about him at left tackle just from speaking with people, but you got to replace Broderick Jones. You got to replace Warren McClendon with Mims. If you replace Cedric Van Pran, Granger, then things, they might take not a considerable step backwards, but a step backwards on the offensive line. They were so dominant this year. But guys like Xavier Truss is still going to come back. Devin Willock, Austin Blasky is a guy who could play that center role next year. So offensive line, small little question mark, but they should be really good. Are they going to be as good as they were this past year and 2 years ago? I'm not sure about that, but they're going to be a very good group overall. Defensively, missing Keely Ringo, he's gone to the draft. Jalen Carter, gone to the draft. Chris Smith, got to replace him. So in linebacker, they're perfectly fine. Small Munden coming back. Jamon Dumas-Johnson coming back. Jalen Walker, freshman linebacker who made a big sack at the end of the game. He's going to be very, very good. They're set at linebacker. Marvin Jones Jr., outside linebacker, I think could have a breakout season. Do we see more of MJ Sherman? It looks like he's coming back. He's not going to transfer. Do we see anything out of Xavier Sori, five-star inside linebacker? Just hasn't really, seen the field a ton, but an extremely talented guy. Does he take that next step forward? Tresman Marshall, I think, could come back. He was in that 2019 class, so I think he has a year of eligibility left. And then on the defensive line, Nazir Stackhouse is going to come back, but you have to replace, obviously, Jalen Carter, Tramel Walthour, Zion Logue. You've got Tyrion Ingram-Dawkins, who I think could play a big part. Warren Brinson could have a really big year next year. Barry Alexander could have a big year next year. Lots of young, hungry talent on the defensive line who I think could really, really shine next year that people still maybe didn't hear a ton or see a ton of them this year. Barry Alexander, although with really, really good national championship game. But Tyrion Ingram-Dawkins is a guy I have my eye on. I think Warren Brinson is going to get better and better. And then you've got some really talented incoming freshmen. Jamal Jarrett, 320-plus pounds. He could play that nose. Jordan Hall, I think, is going to have an excellent career in Athens. You still have Michael Williams on the defensive line coming back. An elite pass rusher. He's just going to get after the quarterback all year long next year. I expect him to have a possible All-American type of season only in year 2, and it's crazy. And then the secondary, Kamari Laster coming back, Malachi Starks coming back, Javon Bullard coming back. I think DJ Daniel is a guy who could replace Chris Smith. Different type of player, but I think he's the next safety up because Malachi Starks should not be coming off the field. And then at cornerback could be a fight between Nyland Green and Dalen Everett. Two really, really good players. Whoever wins that job to replace Keely Ringo, I think is going to be a really good player because they beat out some really good players to get that starting position. So they're losing guys. I expect they might have 3 first-round picks, maybe 4. Keely Ringo, Jalen Carter, maybe Darnell Washington. I think Broderick Jones is a guy who could go first round. So a lot of talent's leaving, but this team is just reloading. They are a machine. They're a juggernaut right now. I mean, they are in full motion. They aren't going anywhere. So, they lost 15 guys to the NFL draft, 5 first rounders, right? Came back, won the national championship. So that's what they're doing when they're out recruiting. Their plan is, hey, we want you to come in here for 3 years, then go to the NFL. So we can tell the guy behind you that he only has to be here for 3 years before he goes to the NFL, so on and so on. That's how the machine works. That's what Kirby's trying to build at Georgia. They recruit, they develop, and they want you out of here so you can go make your money so they can tell another guy, hey, this is what we did with him. He was 3 and out. First round pick, 3 and out, first round pick, 3 and out, number 1 overall pick, as they could, what happened with Trayvon Walker. So it's all a selling point. This helps their pitch. You think they were good recruiters before they won 2 national championships? They're going to walk into these living rooms with, fingers full of rings, and everything they pitch, everything they sell, they're backing it up with. You're not going to be able to negatively recruit Georgia like, a few people at Texas A&M did last year. You're just not going to do it. Not in Georgia, because they have proven that when they sell a recruit, when they sell, or pitch to them and their family, they can back it up. They back it up with rings. They back it up with NFL draft picks. They back it up with, playing freshmen. They play a lot of freshmen. If you sign with Georgia, depending on the position you're at, you could see the field early on. And they showed that again in the national championship game, playing so many young guys, so many freshmen, made a lot of plays. They're going to be very, very good next year. They have the schedule that is very friendly, really friendly schedule. They don't have to go to Kentucky or Missouri. They did this past year, but they go to Knoxville, go to Nashville, go to Auburn, go to Jacksonville. Those are the 4 road games, and they're pretty close. I mean, not a lot of road trips for Dog Post, which is great news. But 2023 is going to be very, very special. I think there's a real chance that Georgia gets the three-peat. We're going to be talking more about that for the next several months. Really hope y'all continue this ride with us over at Dog Post. We love our YouTube audience. Thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate it. We love covering this team for you, and we really hope that y'all are enjoying the content. It's going to be a good year ahead. Dogs aren't going anywhere. Stick with Dog Post for the 2023 season. I think it's going to be another special one. Dogs aren't going anywhere. They're not going anywhere. That means you need to be on Dog Post. Thanks for watching this video. As always, stay tuned to the next one coming up right now. See you over on Dog Post.